before. So, look, an outsider here, on a wet track. Streets of Avalon, Futurity winner last year. He's obviously going to be very hard to beat. He won the Australia Stakes. He's a very, very good horse. This is Caulfield. It's 1400. It's really his playbook, Hayne. He's in with a terrific chance, and we saw that great story with Shane Nichols, and what a result for Zac Spainer would be, a first Group 1. So a live chance. It depends on the pressure, how much pressure on him, if he can dictate. Remember, he beat Super Seth and Melody Bell when he won that Futurity. I mean, that is very good form. Melody Bell's a 13-time Group 1 winner, and Super Seth had won the Caulfield Guinea, so nothing wrong with the form. This is a horse that interests me almost as much as 𝙎𝙩𝙖, Imaging. If it had been a wet track, Hayne, I'd almost put him on top. He is a really, really interesting horse. I'm just not sure whether Chris is going to get him to Group 1 level. It's his third preparation. He won a race during the autumn last season. His spring was almost there, but not quite. We've seen the 𝙎𝙖 story. Look, he's a very good horse. I don't think he's a Group 1 weight for age horse. He's only had one start at weight for age, and it proved to be too much for him. He got back to winning form last start. I'd be surprised, Henry, if he could win. And the next one is, well, he's a blue blood in a way now, isn't he? Yeah, well, as we saw, Amy McDonald earlier, he's a brother, older brother of Arcadia Queen, and look, a great story, Amy having her first run in a Group 1 here and partner Lee Horner. I'd say he'd be probably better placed in about a month's time. There's a couple of listed races, the Victoria Cup at Caulfield and maybe the Bendigo Golden Mile, something like that. But he's on the way through. He's just trickily placed with a rating of 95. It's hard to place him, but one of those listed races late in the carnival would suit him ideally.
The 5-year-old mare by 𝙎𝙎𝙖 Award, Sovereign Award for Danny O'Brien and Ollie. Yeah, she's come a long, long way in a couple of preparations. 2 preparations ago, she was, you know, going around in mares 64 races and struggling to win them, but just mental maturity's really helped her. You see her being led by the pony there with the red earmuffs on. She's a hot mare, but she's just kept on improving, and that's the quality of the 𝙎𝙖𝙖 Awards. They get better with time. I thought her trial at Geelong the other day was equally as good as 𝙎𝙎𝙖's. That was the fastest trial of the morning, the How Romantic trial, and she wasn't far off them. There's Crosshaven, who's by Smart Missile, and he's won 5 of his 7. Yeah, well, we spoke earlier about Alabama Express winning last year and the 3-year-olds Fresh having a good record here. We also spoke about tactical versatility, and he's got it. He can settle right on the speed here in a race. Probably, you know, just off Streets of Avalon, something like that, but 𝙎𝙎𝙖, the main danger, where's he going to be? Well, this bloke will be right up there, and he's a professional racehorse. He digs in, he tries hard. His record suggests that. His form's around all the A-grade Group 1 3-year-olds, and he's certainly not out of place. And he's sort of Daniel Stackhouse's horse. Yeah, well, he is. He's been with him all the way, and it was a bit of a surge from Daniel Stackhouse prior to the Spring Carnival. He's just started riding winners everywhere and got those opportunities in town. It's good to see him stick with some good horses like this. We saw Dean Lester's analysis earlier why he thinks this horse can upset 𝙎𝙎𝙖. Let's get to you, Brett, for a market here in the Group 1.
Yeah, thanks, Hayne. Well, the Cox Plate winner, 𝙎𝙎𝙖, had been favourite all week, but Crosshaven is right with it now at the top of the market. The Dragon was as short as $2.70 at one point. It's now $3.10. It does wear glue on its shoes for the first time, and our traders are wary of that. Obviously, some punters are too. With support for Crosshaven, who is $4.40 into $3, they're clearly the best backed runner. Imaging has had some support at $5.50. Streets of Avalon was backed earlier today, but it's eased late. It's at $9.50. And seemingly an avalanche of money for Crosshaven into favouritism now.
Yeah, because I think it's from a speed map point of view, Hayme. He's a 3-year-old that can go forward. We've only seen a couple of 3-year-olds in the last 17 years been able to win the race, but one of them was last year in Alabama Express. I'm with a horse on the each way called Imaging. He was formerly trained by Dermot Weld over in Europe, in Ireland. So he has raced this way of going. Been in Australia, he's been with Chris Waller, and he's raced the Sydney way. Fantastic in a Missile, unlucky in a Winx, ran really well in a George Main. He's a quality horse. I think he'll run a big race.
Good luck to Rowan Craigie, who's in the ownership. Fingers crossed. Market mover, please, Brett.
Yeah, Crosshaven, Hayme, it opened at $4.40. The money keeps coming for it. It's into $3.
It's a proper go.
Yeah, big go, and that's just probably best of days was truckloaded too, and with the realisation that he'd get a good run on speed. I don't think this is a vintage CF4. We had a precedent there for mares that won the Tessio in the spring. Suavito won the Tessio in 2015 and came out and won the All first up. And not saying Sovereign Award's going to win, but I think she's open to improvement this preparation, and I think she can run a really big race at good odds.
Who are you with, Bruce?
Look, my head tells me Crosshaven because of all the things we've been talking about, but I just looked at 𝙎𝙎𝙖 walk in, and I spoke to Bossy this week. I'm going to go with my heart. I think the Cox Plate winner can do it.
Imaging for Richo, 𝙎𝙩𝙖 for Bruce and Hutchie, and Crosshaven for Dean Lester. A good 3, Randwick, soft 5. So it's time for a Group 1, the CF4 Stakes. 1,400 metres, $500,000 on offer. To Matt Hill we go.
Stage is all important. Ready to run, movement towards the inside. Holds on set, and they're racing in the CF4. Dropping out to the tail, Angel of Truth. Crosshaven began really fast with Sovereign Award. Not far away, Streets of Avalon as expected, and behind them 𝙎𝙩𝙖. Sovereign Award will lead Streets of Avalon. Crosshaven third, one off the fence outside of 𝙎𝙎𝙖. They were followed by Imaging, and next along the inside is Arcadia Prince. In that group of horses off the back is 𝙎𝙩𝙖, 2 lengths 𝙎𝙎𝙠𝙚. Angel of Truth is last. Sovereign Award to the side of the track at the 950, blazes the trail by 2 lengths Streets of Avalon. A length and 3/4 𝙎𝙎𝙖, Crosshaven. Then came Imaging deeper. A length 𝙎𝙎𝙖, 7 off the lead. Arcadia Prince, 𝙎𝙎𝙠𝙚, and Angel of Truth is last in the ore. Sovereign Award kept them running. 650 metres to go. 2 lengths Streets of Avalon, 2 1/4 𝙎𝙎𝙖. Crosshaven followed by Imaging. Next in the field, 𝙎𝙎𝙠𝙚. 𝙎𝙎𝙖 is third last. Then Arcadia Prince and Angel of Truth is last. 𝙎𝙎𝙖 given a slap with the whip around the turn. Sovereign Award had them chasing at the 350 from Streets of Avalon. Crosshaven, Imaging to the middle of the track, and then 𝙎𝙎𝙖. Streets of Avalon at the 200. Here's Imaging pounding down the middle, and then came Crosshaven. Streets of Avalon digs in, 100 to go. Imaging not there yet. Streets of Avalon, Imaging, stride for stride. Streets of Avalon fights. It's a winner. Streets of Avalon won the Group 1. Imaging second, Crosshaven third. 𝙎𝙎𝙠𝙚 is up for 4 with Angel of Truth, 𝙎𝙎𝙖, and then came 𝙎𝙎𝙖, never sighted, Sovereign Award, and last of all was Arcadia Prince.
Well done, Zach Spain, a first Group 1 win. Well done, Shane Nichols. We are so pleased for you and the family. In Streets of Avalon, what a fight down the finish. You thought Imaging will get there, Imaging will get there, Imaging will get there. Streets of Avalon, too tough, too brave. Yeah, that was terrific. I was rapt watching that for Zach Spain. He's a great little worker. You can see the emotion on his face there. Good flourish of the whip. Hopefully doesn't get a fine. He was roaring at that horse the last 200 and just got a beautiful sit off the mare, Sovereign Award. She set the speed. This horse got a nice track into it. 𝙎𝙎𝙖 unsighted. Imaging wide the trip, but just kept coming. Great result, I reckon. Bruce, 𝙎𝙎𝙖, a disappointment, but we heard about Shane Nichols having the near-death experience last October and how much this horse means to the family. It was just a terrific finish.
It was a dogfight, wasn't it, Haim? All the way up the straight. And I think most of us thought Imaging was going to win, but not to be. And on the line, he's actually coming away. And Zach, first Group 1, hasn't he celebrated in a big way? Imaging was terrific, but gee, the winner. So he's won a Futurity in an All Stakes. He's going to go down as one of those absolute bread and butter Group 1 winners, but boy, oh boy, would you love to have him. Good Crosshaven. Gee, there is a big casualty in the race, though, Haim. There is a very big casualty in the race. They rolled the dice today, and I thought it was the right way to go with 𝙎𝙎𝙖, but you do wonder now, Henry, what do they do with him now?
Yeah, a little bit sticky there. Big question mark. There probably wasn't a lot to lose by running him. If he won, the upside was his stallion value is huge, being a 1,400 metre winner. But
he ran so poorly.
Yeah, well, nobody thought he'd sort of, at worst, you were thinking he'd run a nice third or fourth, finishing off from a bad spot. But yeah, he had a reputation over in Europe as being a little bit of a thinker, a little bit of a bull. But whether that's returning now, I'm not sure. But yeah, you put your thinking caps on there. I'm not sure what happens. And Katie, I think we've got you there. I mean, Zach Spain, now, forever, he's a Group 1 winning jockey.
Yeah, and as Henry said, he's such a good worker. I rode a little bit just before I went to Sydney with Zach, and look, he's such a quiet, lovely kid. He goes about his ways, but to see him ride his first Group 1 winner today on such a great horse that's been to him and Shane Nichols and all the connections, it's just makes me smile, because these jockeys, they work so hard, and to get an opportunity like this in a big one is extraordinary.
Yeah, he's a great kid, and just with Streets of Avalon, I remember when he won the Futurity last year, I sort of thought, well, a lot of horses fluke a Group 1 win, don't they? They get one of those sort of lower tier handicap Group 1s. Not many horses fluke 2 Group 1 wins, do they? And he's in that category now, and a terrific for Shane Nichols and Zach Spain. And he had I'm a Star, Shane Nichols, and now he's got another star. Yeah, Maya Classic, Dean Yendall, famous interview afterwards. Yep. One with 48.5 kilos and 2 Group 1 horses. He's a good bloke, Shane Nichols. He's overcome a bit of health problems recently, and I just reckon that's terrific. Just back to 𝙎𝙩𝙖 quickly. I mean, as a trainer, what do you now do? You get home, you feed, you hope he eats well, and tomorrow you reassess. When do you know what happened? Normal stable practice would be to give the horse a little bit of bute tonight to get over the run. I'd say they wouldn't do that. They want to trot him up without any anti-inflammatories tomorrow just to see if anything's gone amiss. If that's the case, they've done everything they can to freshen him up mentally. He's been trained at the beach, he's been shifted to Caulfield. He just, you'd think, he either hasn't stretched out today on the firm track or firmish track, which is why you want to trot him up tomorrow, or he hasn't put in.
And Bruce, 𝙎𝙩𝙖, he's rolled into 4th.
He ran well. In fact, we were just noticing then. Now he's a fair way behind 𝙎𝙎𝙠𝙚𝙨, but he has run well. So he's holding his form. Here he is on the outside of 𝙎𝙎𝙖. He had a really good spring. He broke through and won the Fian, of course, hadn't won for a long time. So, no, he's a big tick for him. So I guess for 𝙎𝙎𝙠𝙚, they go on to the Australian Guineas, I would think, Haim. There was nothing wrong with his run. And Streets of Avalon, well, I reckon he's coming back in a fortnight's time, Henry, isn't he, for the futurity again?
Well, you'd be mad not to. That's his wheelhouse, 1400 at Caulfield. It's just one of those tracks. You've got such an advantage. If you put yourself on pace, you can have a high cruising speed and then keep giving a kick. And I don't think Zach Spain was going to let him not give a kick there. He was going hard.
I should have listened to Bruce. He said, Streets of Avalon, Caulfield, 1400 metres. That's his game plan. Should have had $1 on. Well done, Shane Nichols. We'll hear from you in just a moment. But for our Victorian and New South Wales viewers, switch from 7 over to 7-2 for more great racing on 7.